Hello and welcome to Building Solid Foundations. I'm your host, Steve Matley. Building Solid Foundations is a show we try to help you build the solid foundation for leadership, legacy, and life. And today we're going to talk about helping to build a solid foundation for a career in the construction trades. Why the construction trades? Because it pays well, because it's high demand, and because not enough people want to do it. And we're going to talk about why is that the case. My guest today is Scott Farrell. Scott Farrell is the CEO and owner of Black Mountain Plumbing. Welcome, Scott. Good to see you here.
Thanks.
A little background on Scott. He's been a plumber for over 30 years in the San Diego area. He used to help as a kid helping his pastor on building projects, and he was encouraged to become a plumber. And one reason I like having a plumber on this segment to talk about the trades is because for some reason plumbing seems to be the most integrated of all the trades, and yet it's probably one of the best paying of all the trades, one of the best career paths. And I've never understood that disconnect. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Black Mountain Plumbing was started with the help of his wife Anita in 1993, became a corporation in 2000. And Scott's also served on the board of directors and as president for the San Diego Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Contractors Association. I did talk with Scott back then. He actually came and talked to one of the classes I was teaching. I was teaching a Plumbing 101 course as part of I believe it was a grant program to help young people, at-risk youth come in and discover the trades. So Scott, let's talk about right off, how severe is the current shortage of skilled trade workers out there?
It's really short because a lot of people, they get told, you need to go to college. Here's the money we're going to give you to go to college so you can get in debt. And that's your only choice. And everybody is told that's what you do. Instead of, hey, why don't be an electrician or a plumber or a roofer? I mean, there's jobs out there.
Now, years ago when I was in school, we had something called shop classes.
Right.
And in shop classes, you could learn to be an auto mechanic, you could learn to do electronics, you could learn welding, you could learn woodwork, you could learn a lot of different things that would be translatable to a building trade. Most of that's gone now. There's some magnet schools out there that do it. For the most part, they've wiped those programs out. And I think you're right. For the last 50 years, we've been using our school system to teach our children that if you go to the construction trades instead of going to Harvard or Stanford, you must be a loser,
right.
Which is a horrible message to send when you're right. The college graduate comes out with 6 figures of debt, not always a good prospect for work. As far as I know, most people going through the plumbing academy get work. They're already working. That's part of the deal. So, so we talked a little about why is there a shortage. What else is contributing to this shortage right now?
Contributing to the shortage for people is just the lack of knowledge that, hey, this needs to get done. The lack of knowledge that, it does pay well. Mm-hmm. And if you think of, like, for plumbing especially, people think, oh, plumbing, that's a backed up toilet. I don't want to be the guy with the plunger making fun of.
It sounds disgusting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're in other people's crap up to your elbows, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And in reality, you're cutting pipe, you're measuring pipe, you're designing water systems, air systems, affluent systems. You're making a building become a livable house or a functioning facility. Without plumbing, it's just a shed.
I agree, and I know a lot of the push right now is kind of towards like STEM programs. The computers, electronics, telecommunications. I've always thought, though, if I had to choose between not having a television and not having a working toilet, I'm probably going to choose the toilet is what I want, right?
Right.
That's probably more essential to my life.
Yeah.
And it's probably a more stable job down the road. What kind of training is needed if you want to become, skilled in a trade? Because there's people that do trades that are unskilled. They're kind of the day labor kind of people. That's getting harder and harder to do here in California because there were some laws passed that require skilled and trained people on construction sites. But what does it take to be considered skilled?
Well, usually a 4-year apprenticeship.
Okay.
And whether it's union or non-union, like the PHCC, is a 4-year apprenticeship for a company, though, that's going to want to train you to be an actual plumber. It would be better if you're going that way, make sure you're going to become a plumber instead of somebody that just puts in like copper pipe for a living. You don't want to be that guy. Try to get to become well-rounded.
So let's differentiate that. Okay, so if I'm looking for work and I don't know the difference, I'm going to go to work for a company and they say they do plumbing work. And then they bring me in and they say, okay, we're going to teach you how to solder copper pipe. And pretty much that's it. That's all you're going to do, and 50 years later you might still be doing the same thing. So how do I know when I come into a company what to look for, what to ask?
Well, ask them, do you train plumbers or do you train technicians?
Okay, so that's the difference, technician versus plumber.
A lot of times. Because you can put a tagline as a technician on somebody, and that's going to be valid. But if you tell somebody that you're going to send out a plumber, and you send out Joe, and Joe can't figure out how to diagnose a tankless, well, wait a minute. How come Joe can't fix my plumbing?
Okay, because Joe was only trained how to do copper pipe.
Right.
And and he showed up, the problem is in a cast iron pipe.
Right.
Which he doesn't have the equipment or the tools to do.
Not a clue.
Okay. And we mentioned a little bit our education system, but currently, do you think our overall education system, is it helping or hurting our current situation?
I think it's hurting, because it's just the focus isn't on what you can do or what you want to do. It's it's all the stuff you might want to do, and people get it all lost into so many different things. It's almost like living your life on a cell phone. Okay. There's just so many options. It's people just don't pick something. It's just life. Mm-hmm. Get a job. If you do well in it for a period of time, succeed in that job. Move up the ladder, become a superintendent, become an owner, start your own company, do something. But if you just want a job, then that's fine. You'll be okay there too.
Okay. And I look at some of this as there's an emphasis, which isn't all bad, about you need to follow your passion, follow your dream, which is okay, except that sometimes your passion and your dream doesn't pay. There's no way to make a living out of it. Right. Or you have 2 million people with your same passion and dream and only 200 jobs available to do it. On the other hand, there's opportunities. And opportunities like plumbing is an opportunity. Would you say that is a viable opportunity right now for people?
Yeah, there's a shortage of all trades right now.
Okay.
I mean, people that actually can think, that have good people skills, that are reliable. There's a shortage of people like that. People can communicate. Nowadays, a plumber, yes, you need to learn how to use your tools, know all the parts, the fittings, plumbing code, but you also have to be able to, run a computer to somewhat.
Right.
And most everything's done on applications now, whether it's your time card or checking into a job or billing a customer. So it's hard finding people nowadays.
Okay, and also if you're in the service side of it, you're not only doing the plumbing work, you are also somewhat of a sales rep, the public relations, and you're the money collector too, right?
Yeah.
You're everything. You
got to be able to do it all, and not be shy, and just have some confidence. Hopefully you work with people that are going to groom you and build your confidence, and train you and teach you some integrity and character, and some quality skills with your job, but. You need to vet the people you work for, I guess.
Okay. And as far as plumbing goes, there's a lot of myths about plumbing, about what it is and what it isn't. Essentially, it is some hard physical work, though, is it not?
It's really hard physical work. Okay. Absolutely. You get burned. You're the guy that needs to climb underneath the house, where the rats are, where the black widows are, where the sewer or the water leaked, and you have to climb down underneath there to help Grandma Willis fix her drains. It's not fun. Climb up in the attic, where the asbestos and the insulation and the dust and dirt for 100 years is.
But if you're wearing proper equipment, protective equipment, then you're not at danger. Also, pipes are kind of heavy if they're cast iron or if they're steel, right? Okay. I know that digging trenches isn't the most fun out in the sun.
But it's needed for plumbing.
Yep, you got to dig a 60-foot trench to get out to the street. That's right.
First thing you learn how to do is dig a ditch.
That's right. So there's some hard physical work to it. But is it worth it? Does it pay?
Pays really well.
Okay.
I think it pays really well. It's hard in San Diego County. It costs a lot of money. I know this show goes everywhere, but it's expensive in San Diego County. But my guys in their 30s were buying their own houses as single guys. Mm-hmm. So I think that says a lot.
Okay, and in one of the most expensive housing markets in the country, and they're able to buy their own homes. There was a statistic that I dug up a while back, and it showed a white-collar position and a trade worker position. The white-collar position was architecture, because I work in an architecture school, and I work the construction management side. The average wage for an architect nationally, licensed architect, about $72,000. The average wage for a plumber, a master plumber nationally, about $102,000. I think most people think that's reversed. And I think they don't understand that there's a good money to be made in the trades. We're going to have to take a short break. When we come back, I want to pick up this topic again about the lack of skilled labor, and we're going to dig a little deeper into what it takes to do it and what the benefits are to doing it. This is Building Solid Foundations. We're talking about the lack of skilled trade, and we'll be right back.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations. I'm your host, Steve Matley. Today we are talking about the lack of skilled trade workers that we are currently facing in this country. My guest today is Scott Farrell. He is the CEO and owner of Black Mountain Plumbing, so he sees this firsthand every single day. He's right on the front line. So, Scott, picking up the conversation where we left off, I want to make it a little more personal here. Your personal background and why you chose the skilled trades, specifically plumbing, as your path.
Well, it was interesting because in my family, my mom was a legal secretary and for a prestigious law firm, and my dad owned a civil engineering firm. So you would think that I'd go to college.
Yeah, exactly. Business or engineering, right?
Right. And I always liked hanging out with my grandpa, and I liked hanging out with one of my pastors and just building things all the time. And building buildings and churches or whatever. And this is like in high school. Mm-hmm. And my pastor said, you should be a plumber, because he was for 30 years. And I had no idea what plumber meant. I had no clue. But I liked this guy. I looked up to him. He had good integrity, hard worker. It's fun to work with, building things. He could build anything, not just plumbing, anything. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much a plumber can, because he's underground, in the walls, and outside the walls is where plumbing is.
Right.
And so I just did that. I went and waited in line 24 hours and became an apprentice, and man, I love it.
Okay, so if he plumbed your house, then the water you get out of the spigot, would that be pasteurized? No, that's very bad, I know. Okay, so you chose plumbing as a career, and how did you move from the skilled trade worker in the field to a business owner?
I think I just had a high degree of or a high need to just do a good job wherever I was working. And so when I first started working, I was running jobs as an apprentice, because I'd see things not ordered right, things disorganized, and it kind of made me crazy. And so I just pushed my way in front of people, basically, not on purpose, but to make everybody else's job easier. I would go for my foreman and say, hey, look, let me make a list of all the parts we need for these houses, and I'll order them for you. Because I was tired of missing parts. And just doing above and beyond my job and trying to help others, the people over me, it just moved me up the ladder. And it wasn't on purpose. I had no goal to be a business owner. I had never wanted to work for myself. But at some point, it's just that's what you do.
Okay, and that's a key. And I tell students all the time that if you want to be in the top 10% of the workforce, show up and act like you're interested. Just do that, and that sounds like that's what you did. You showed up, you cared about your job enough to be able to dot the I's, cross the T's, and make sure you had what you needed when you needed it and jobs were getting done. And that is a key. A lot of people won't do that. They won't do the basics.
Yeah, most people just want to get paid. They want their job, and that's fine. Then you're going to receive what you put into it. But if you want to do your job well, if you want to pay attention to how you can serve your other workers, serve the people you're working for, just keep that in mind, that you have an opportunity to be helpful and a blessing to people, or you can just take and take is going to be empty. So
I agree. And the whole purpose, I think, of working is not to earn the paycheck. It is you are serving people. You are taking your unique set of skills, talents, abilities, connections, experience, education, and using it to better other people.
Absolutely.
And the money comes after that.
Sure.
It may not instantly, maybe not instantly. It's not necessarily a linear equation, but it always comes if you're diligent in it.
Yeah.
So I think the blessing is on that. What are the challenges of being a skilled trade person?
It's going to be a lot of effort for a few years. During your apprenticeship program, you're going to be expected to be that guy. You're going to show up. You're going to probably work late in the trades. You're going to be tired and have to come back and do it again tomorrow. And you're going to have to deal with some things that just aren't fun sometimes, whether it's framing or plumbing. Some stuff's not fun, working in 100-degree weather. It's hot out.
That's true. And the building's not air conditioned until you're done.
Right.
And you don't get to enjoy it.
No.
Okay. All right. But okay, so what's the benefits of being the skilled trade person?
Benefit for me is when I go home, I don't have to call somebody to come fix something at my house.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what it is. Pretty much we're just going to have it fixed. And it'll get fixed. It's going to get built. It's going to get changed. And I don't have to spend $150 an hour to have somebody come do it. Okay.
Now, as far as the education side of it goes, if we follow the societal model, we graduate high school and then we go to college and we rack up 6 figures of student debt to go to school, and then we come out and we try to search for a job that's in our major if we pick the right major, right? In the trades, you still go to 4 years of school, right? But how much do you pay to go to that school?
Well, some people get it paid for them through their employers. In fact, most places do, or they'll pay for it if you stay with them for a couple years.
Okay.
Which I think is a fair thing. I mean,
term of service contract.
Right. Well, you can't really do a contract, but you can say, hey, if you're here for a year after you graduate as a journeyman, we'll pay for your first year.
Okay.
We'll give you a check. If you're here for 2 years after you graduate as a journeyman, take your test, we'll give you another year, and then pay them a big check. And I think that's fair and reasonable.
Okay, so then they don't have any debt. And then, so whether you go to college or trades, you're still into 4 years of school, but in the trades, you're also working while you're going to apprenticeship school, right? It's an on-the-job kind of a deal, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you make good money, good money.
So you're actually getting paid to go to school, more or less.
Yeah, well, school in an apprenticeship format is usually going to be in the evenings for 4 hours. And that's hard for a guy after you already worked all day long.
That's right.
And then hurry up, eat, and get to school and put in 4 hours. And then somewhere during the week, you're going to have to do your homework.
That's right.
And you might be on call at night, and you have to do that too. But so it's going to be some effort. But it's not like you're going to the library every night studying and studying and studying.
Right.
You're not getting paid at the library.
That's right.
But if you're working nights, you're making bank because you're getting overtime. But you're not getting paid a penny at the library.
That's right. That's right. Okay. And then once we graduate from a skilled trade program, what's the probability of being employed?
100%.
Because you're probably already employed when you were going there, right?
It's 100%. I know a lot of people with college degrees that are in their 50s, and for whatever reason, work slowed down or who knows what, and they have a hard time getting that second job. Or whatever it is, another job at 50.
Right.
But if you're 50 years old and you're a plumber or electrician, go down to the neighborhood electrical place or plumbing place, tell them your name and what you've been doing for 30 years. Oh, perfect. Can you start Monday?
Okay.
There's nobody going to be concerned.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the job market right now is 100% out there. We're not just have jobs available. They're desperate at this point, right?
Yeah.
And
They
it's
need
not just
people.
plumbing.
Yeah.
It's electrical, it's concrete work, it's iron work, it's drywall work, it's painters, it's everybody.
Yeah.
It's desperately needed. Glazers. And especially now that we're kind of in a building boom. And it's not just here. We have a building boom here in Southern California, but there's a building boom in Northern California. There's one in Washington. There's one in Texas. There's one in Florida. There's one in Carolina. They're all over the place right now. Most of the country is enjoying that right now. So no matter where you live or where you go, there's opportunity.
There's opportunity. Building booms are good, but they're going to do one thing for you. They're going to maybe increase your wages for a while when there's a building boom, because they're pulling people away from the customer service and service side of things. But when the building boom goes away, the wages are now set at that level, and there's always service and repair and remodeling, because people always need to fix things. You're not going to live in that house or building that doesn't work.
So that's where the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trades have a little bit of an edge over the other building trades, because those are systems that constantly need maintenance and repair just by the nature of them.
Yeah.
Things go wrong, things back up, things break. Okay. And that means that even if we're in a recession, a deep recession, the toilet still backs up, the water heater still breaks, the shower still doesn't work, the plumbing pipe breaks, and whatever happens, we have to fix that. And
Things decay.
Things
I mean,
decay.
things decay. The holes in pipes. You might take really good care of your home, and the maid comes every week, and it's nice. But when that copper pipe in the wall fails because of the bad water we have, it's a problem.
That's right, and so there's where even insurance work goes to a lot of these trades, right? So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and a lot of it's pretty secure. There's a lot of money to be made. There's good training available, and the key there is that's for the people that actually get skilled and have the skills, as opposed to those that just try to read a few books and go off and handyman it on their own. And I know you've probably had to repair some of that kind of work
Every day.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have to take another break. When we come back, we're gonna wrap this up on looking at specifically what kind of positions are around and what's our best advice if you are looking to get into the trades. I'm with Scott Farrell, CEO and owner of Black Mountain Plumbing. I'm Steve Matley, your host. We'll be right back with Building Solid Foundations. Don't go anywhere.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations. I'm your host, Steve Matley. Today we are talking about the shortage of skilled trade workers that we're currently facing. And my guest today is Scott Farrell. He's the CEO and the owner of Black Mountain Plumbing. Scott, we kind of outlaid the problem of the lack of skilled trade. We kind of defined what it is. And what I want to get into now is where do we find the training? If I want to get into this deal, where do I go to find the training? And I know that you've been very much involved with one of the apprenticeship programs locally. So talk to us about that.
So what I'm talking about is, for me in particular, I have a good spot in my heart for the Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Contractors Association.
Okay.
It's going to be called the PHCC of San Diego. It's nationwide, and they have apprenticeship programs, so they're 4-year programs all over the country. And most all of those, the companies are going to be taking care of your apprenticeship costs.
Okay.
Not all of them, but most of them, or they're going to pay for them after you've been with them for a while.
Okay, so generally, the company's going to want to bring you on as an apprentice, and they basically sponsor you through the apprenticeship program.
Yeah,
right?
if you can make 90 days, and you're coherent, you have some talent, some skill, they're going to want to keep you. And they're going to want to send you to school. And if you want to go to school for 4 years, that's your deal, and it'll pay off though.
Okay. Now, we think about going to school for 4 years to learn to be ready for a career. This isn't about football games and keggers and frat parties and that kind of stuff.
No.
What can I expect? What am I walking into when I come into this program?
Well, you're going to have shop class. You're going to have some book class. You're going to do trainings on the different kinds of material. A lot of different vendors will come in with their products that you need certifications for, whether it's different kind of plumbing materials, whether it's CSST or CPVC, poly PE fusion. There's a lot of stuff it's amazing the stuff we do nowadays, and we have to be certified for.
Right, and there's a lot of these are proprietary products
Right.
that the manufacturer has to know that the people installing it understand their product and how to attach it, how to make it work, the tools, the equipment, right, all that kind of stuff. All right, and you mentioned that it's about 4 hours per night. Is that every day of the week?
No, just one night a week usually.
Okay, one night a week you go for. So is it an hour per night, 4 days a week, or one night a week, 4 hours at a shot?
Most all the apprenticeship programs we're involved with are 4 hours, one night a week.
Okay, and you're going to go there 4 years. So I'm thinking if that fills 4 days a week, the first year's got Monday, the second year's got Tuesday, third year's got Thursday. That's the way that works.
Yep, Friday off.
Friday's off.
So the same school, Monday nights first year, Tuesday nights second year.
So you'll go through with a cohort, and the people you start with are the people you're probably going to graduate with.
Yeah, when I went through the local 230 here in San Diego, I think there was 30 guys started and 15 finished.
Okay.
But
so
half.
50% attrition. Okay.
Yeah, half. They just, for whatever reason, and people move or who knows what. But you had to keep your grades up. If you don't have good grades and you're not, keeping your job, so you got to keep your grades up and you got to keep your job. So if you're not going to be, competent enough to do both, you're not going to make it.
So it's still read a book, write a report, do a test, get your grades,
work in the shop.
you have a GPA, and
Yep.
it's the hands-on in the shop, working with the tools, and it's working in the field every day
Yeah.
as well.
That's why it pays well. You put in your time.
But by the time you're done, you know a lot about plumbing.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the other trades are pretty similar,
Yeah.
whether you're an iron worker or a mechanical worker or whatever.
You know more stuff than you need to know. Yeah.
Okay. Can I make a good living?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real good living. Real good living. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. You can't just go spend your money frivolously.
Right.
That's a bad plan. But you can make a lot of money, honestly.
Is there such a thing as a trade worker who becomes a millionaire?
Yeah.
There are probably a few. They probably end up owning their own companies at some point, don't they? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the beauty of that is if you do work your way up to where you own your own company, you are now providing opportunities for the next generation to be trained up and make a living for their families.
Yeah, you have an opportunity to take care of people
Right.
and help people. I mean, if you have 15 employees work for you, are they there to make money for you, or did God put them in your possession or under your care? I guess would be the best way to put it.
Right.
To take care of them and take care of them, and man, they'll take care of you. Unbelievable.
So it's a leading by serving principle.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many families are you responsible for right now?
At least 15.
15 families. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And so there's an obligation there as a business owner.
Yeah.
They rely on you.
If it's slow, Joe, go clean the shop.
Okay.
For the rest of the day. It doesn't really need cleaned, but it's going to be cleaned because he needs a full day's pay.
Right. Okay. Now, what your very best advice if someone's out there and they're thinking, this might work for me. I may want to get into one of these trades. What's your very best advice for them?
Find a local apprenticeship or talk to a business that's reputable. Check them out on all the different websites or somebody like the PHCC. You could do that.
Okay.
And just get your foot in the door with a company that's going to put you through a 4-year program.
Okay.
Don't. I just want to help people. Don't get that job that somebody just wants to have you make them money. Go somewhere that they're going to put you through school, and then that's a good company to work for.
Good. Ask the question, where will I be 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, we need to wrap this up. Scott, I want to thank you. Scott Farrell's been my guest today. He is the CEO and president of Black Mountain Plumbing. He also is involved with the PHCC, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors. Is that correct? All right. This is Building Solid Foundations. We hope to help you with some advice on how to build a solid foundation for your future career in the trades, if that works for you. Or find somebody you know who needs to make a change for the better. This is Steve Matley for Building Solid Foundations, and we'll see you next week.